All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something you've probably seen 1,000 times, but maybe never really thought about: the motorcycle chain. I mean, it seems simple enough, right? It's just a loop of metal. But as we're about to find out, this humble component is at the heart of a huge global industry, and it involves some incredibly complex, high-stakes decisions. And when I say huge, I am not exaggerating. In 2024, the global market for motorcycle chains is worth $2.8 billion. Just let that sink in. That's a mind-boggling amount of money for a part that most of us completely take for granted. This thing isn't just a component, it's a serious economic force. And that really gets to the core of what we're exploring today. If you're the one in charge of buying these things for a company, it's not just about finding the cheapest one on the shelf. It's like navigating a total minefield of different materials, microscopic levels of precision, and supplier reliability. So how on earth do you make the right call when one wrong move can cost you big time? To even begin to answer that, we've got to go back to basics. We need to understand what we're actually looking at. So let's zoom in, way in, and break down what a single link of a chain is made of. See, every single link isn't just one piece of metal. It's this tiny, precision-engineered machine made of 5 distinct parts. You've got your outer and inner plates for the main structure. You've got the pin that acts like an axle, holding it all together. And then you have the bushing and the roller, which work together to let the chain move smoothly over the sprocket. Now imagine hundreds of these little assemblies, all having to work together perfectly, thousands of times a minute. Okay, so now we know what's in a chain, but how do you actually build one? Well, the whole process really kicks off with 2 fundamental choices that are going to dictate pretty much everything else, from performance all the way to price. First things first, what's it made of? And your choice is basically between steel and, well, better steel. Your standard carbon steel is the baseline. It's affordable, it gets the job done for normal, everyday riding, but if you're in high performance or racing, you need that extra edge. That's where alloy steel, or chromoly, comes in. It's up to 25% stronger, but yep, you're going to pay a lot more for it. The next big decision is about construction. Do you get a basic, non-sealed chain, or do you spring for one that has tiny rubber seals, like O-rings or X-rings, tucked inside each link? The non-sealed one is cheaper to buy, but you're going to be cleaning and lubing it constantly. The sealed chain, on the other hand, costs way more upfront, but it basically keeps the lubricant locked inside, so it needs far less maintenance and can last 2 or even 3 times longer. And right here is our first big clue that the initial price tag, it doesn't tell the whole story. So you've picked your steel. You've decided if you want seals or not. Done deal, right? Not even close. Now we get into what really separates the good from the great. We're entering the world of microscopic measurements. Just look at that number, plus or minus 1/1000th of an inch. To put that in perspective for you, a single human hair is about 3/1000ths of an inch thick. This is the standard acceptable error for the diameter of a chain pin. We're talking about an insane level of precision here. And why does that tiny, invisible measurement matter so much? Well, because being off by just that much, an error you could never, ever see with your naked eye, can slash the life of that chain by up to 12%. That's huge. All of a sudden, precision isn't just some nice feature. It's directly tied to how long the part will last. And this isn't just something manufacturers do for fun. Nope. This level of precision is actually mandated by international standards, like ISO 606. So when you're buying chains, you're not just buying a piece of metal. You're buying a guarantee that meets these incredibly strict global rules. Which, of course, brings us to the next logical question. If the product itself has to be this perfect, then what about the company that's making it? They have to be pretty flawless too. So let's talk about how you pick the right supplier. And let me tell you, vetting a supplier is a seriously intense process. You're not just checking their parts, you are putting their entire business under a microscope. You're looking for a long track record, you're digging into their financial statements to make sure they're stable, and you're checking for massive liability insurance. You're even asking things like, what's your plan if a flood hits your factory? And of course, that ISO 9001 certification, that's not even a question. It's an absolute must-have. And after all that paperwork, it comes down to the big test, the on-site factory audit. You are literally walking their factory floor with a clipboard, scoring them on everything from their quality control to how clean the place is. And the grading is tough. You score 90 or above, you're in. Score below 70, sorry, you're out. The line is that clear because the stakes are just too high. Okay, so we've looked at the product itself, the insane precision required to make it, and the rigorous process for picking the company that produces it. Now let's bring it all home and talk about the thing that matters most to everyone, the real bottom line. All right, time for a little pop quiz. Just looking at this slide, which one do you pick? Supplier A is $12.50 a chain. Supplier B is $14.80. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Go with supplier A. Save some money. Well, this is where we pull back the curtain. This is what's called a total cost of ownership analysis. And when you start factoring in all the hidden costs, things start to look very, very different. Supplier A has higher freight costs. You have to spend more just inspecting their stuff because the quality isn't as good. And wow, look at the cost of dealing with their defects. Suddenly, that cheap price isn't looking so cheap anymore. And here is the punchline. When you add everything up, the cheaper chain from supplier A is actually 16.8% more expensive per chain. The lesson here is crystal clear. The cheaper option was never really cheaper at all. It was just hiding its true cost in all these other parts of the budget. So the next time you see a motorcycle chain, maybe you'll see a little bit more than just a bunch of metal links. It's an incredible reminder that just beneath the surface of almost any simple object, there's a whole world of precision, critical decisions, and hidden complexity. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else are we overlooking every single day?